guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back again with another top horror movies for Halloween. This time we're doing another top 15. If you haven't watched my previous videos, please go do so. The first one was top 15, the second one was top 20. Again, we're doing the third one as a top 15. So let's dive into what creepy horror movies. Like I mentioned at the beginning of all the previous ones too, I'm not going to give away major spoilers. I'm only going to give away little short descriptions so that I don't spoil the fun for you guys. And before anyone is curious about this, I have this little creepy setup that for some reason my mannequin heads creep out everyone. I don't really know why. I made them look more appealing and it still hasn't worked. And my mask creeped them out. I mean, I made that I don't know how everything just creeps them out, but I decided, since they creep people out, I'm just gonna put them in my Halloween videos. So that's what this is all about. So we're just gonna dive straight in. These are in no particular order. First off, we have The Cabin in the Woods. So this film is a little controversial because not everybody really liked this film, but I actually kind of liked it. Kind of reminds me of those old Chinese puzzle boxes for some reason. The whole film is basically an illusion. It's basically kind of reminds me about that Matrix type thing that everyone's talking about, that we're living in a Matrix and everything we do or things we do or create are controlled by other people. So if you like movies about creepy cabins in the woods, or if you're fascinated by people controlling your actions and things like that, definitely go check out this film because it was quite a little creepy. It wasn't really that scary, but it was creepy nonetheless. Second on the list, we have The Collector and The Collection. So The Collector is the first film, The Collection was the second film. And oh boy, this film was beyond gruesome. This guy has serious mental issues and he needs a shrink big time. This whole film was extremely gruesome. Some scenes are quite nauseating of the gore, but that was before I did special effects. Now I do special effects and I'm just like, oh dang, that's really, really well done, really good. So it's basically about this guy who's just he clearly has a mental thing going, but nevertheless he ends up being a serial killer, and he uses the bodies of his victims to make interesting displays in this, let's just call it a house of horrors or a warehouse of horrors. So if that interests you at all, if you like really, really gory films, then this is probably the film for you, so go check it out. Third on the list, we have The Nightmare on Elm Street. I had to put in another classic here. The Nightmare on Elm Street, there is an entire series of films, and I thought it was really cool. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I mean, you gotta know Freddy Krueger by now. If you don't, you're either too young or you've been living under a rock. But Freddy Krueger is the stuff of nightmares, literally. It's basically this old serial killer who died in a fire, and now he just basically haunts kids in their sleep. And the scariest thing about all of this, The Nightmare on Elm Street, the thing a lot of people actually don't know, it's kind of based on true events, which is insane. There was actually a true story that inspired this whole series, and it's just really creepy. It's your nightmares becoming so real, and it also shows a little bit about the effects of the lack of sleep. So if you're interested in seeing a very nightmarish film, or if you're just a fan of Freddy, then definitely go check out these films once more for Halloween. Just go binge watch the entire Nightmare on Elm Street series of films. Fourth on the list, we have Ma. Now, this is also a newer film. I recently watched this on Netflix, and it was really, really creepy. The film stars Octavia Spencer. She's a really great actress. So the whole film is kind of this woman who, she doesn't really want to accept her age. She just want to fit in with the young people. And then later, everything just shockingly turns out for the worst. The plot twist in this film was just really shocking, but it was really cool. She just wants to take on this mother figure and still just feel young. She just wants to be this accepted figure in younger people's lives, and things just really went kind of dark. I mean, if you like get to the ending, near the ending, things just turn around and you're just like, what? But it was a really good film. So if you're interested in seeing this, just go watch this film and then you can decide for yourselves what to make of this. But I thought it was really well done, a really good film. Fifth on the list, we have As Above, So Below. Now, the whole saying as above, so below really has a deeper meaning for me as a spiritual person, because as above, so below, as within, so without, kind of reminds me a little bit of the Christian saying, like, as in heaven, so on earth, that kind of thing. It's basically that everything is connected to everything else. Leonardo da Vinci also had a really big theory about everything being connected to everything else. So I really love that concept and like that they interpret it in this film. And if you're a Harry Potter fan and you love the Philosopher's Stone, you might also like this film a lot because it kind of handles about this Philosopher's Stone, the Stone of Youth. They talk about Nicholas Flamel and the whole theory about as above, so below, the concept of earth and hell, like hell being underneath earth. Just a whole creepy film. If you have claustrophobia, maybe the film will freak you out a little more than the average person because they like go into caves underground and it's just really creepy. So if that fascinates you, definitely go check out this film. I really enjoyed this film. It was really creepy. I have claustrophobia, so it kind of freaked me out a little more than the average person, but it was a really great film. Sixth on the list, we have Sightless. Now, this was an interesting film because this girl basically was attacked and she went blind. And she was like in this facility, and then later when she finds out the truth, things get really, really shocking. But nevertheless, she lost her sight. She had to adapt to being blind. And then later you find out what actually happened to her. You find out the truth and you find out who's actually guilty. And then the whole film just changes and it's really deep. And, you know, I actually like the way how they depict the struggles of someone that had sight that is now blind, how big the struggle is to adapt to not seeing. I really think it was a really great film. I mean, I could just imagine losing my sight. I'd go insane. I mean, I'm also already legally half blind. I mean, I wear glasses. Without them, I can't see. So just losing my sight completely, I just can't imagine. So, you know, that fear alone is what makes this film a whole lot creepier. Seventh on the list, we have A Quiet Place. There's two films, again, and it's basically about these weird creatures. I don't really know what they are, alien. Most people just assume they're like alien-like creatures, and they're very hypersensitive to sound. So basically, no one can make any sound, or otherwise the creatures come and get you. So the film's really creepy. I mean, not saying anything, being quiet like that is... it's a hard thing. I mean, the world is so loud. But in the second film, they explain a little bit more about how it actually happened, what actually happened, and also what they did to, like, basically fix the situation. So if this sounds interesting to you, then definitely go check out this film. It was really great. I really enjoyed it. Eighth on the list, we have Hereditary. Now, I had to put this on here. Apparently, a lot of people think this was really, like, one of the best films ever. I mean, it was a really creepy film. Really plays on creepiness. I mean, if you don't know what the word hereditary even means, basically kind of means like things that gets passed on from parent to child. Basically inheriting, hereditary, you know, it's like traits and things you like inherit. And also if your family has curses, you inherit those curses. So Hereditary is a really creepy film, and it plays on a couple of interesting fears. It also handles about a demon and an occult type situation. But yeah, it's quite a creepy film, and you know, it's kind of one of those films you're like on the edge of your seat and you're like yelling at the people. You know, you're yelling at the actors. You like kind of know it's fake, but you still yell at them, you know, don't do this, don't do that, don't go there. But, you know, obviously in horror movies, they always do the opposite of what we want them to do. So if the film sounds interesting at all to you, definitely go check it out, because I thought it was a really good film, but it was really kind of creepy. A lot of people loved this film, and I also thought it was a pretty good film. It's not my favorite horror movie. I mean, I have a couple I like a lot more, but this, like, I mean, it was good enough for me to put it on this list. Ninth on the list we have Orphan. Now, this film was something else. Like, the plot twist in this film, I mean, this had to be the best plot twist I've seen in the history of film. Like, this plot twist, my mind was blown. Like, at the beginning of the film, you think it's a movie about this poor orphan girl, and then the plot twist happened, and you're like, excuse me? What? So, yeah, I don't want to give away any spoilers of this. Go check out this film. This was incredible. The plot twist, like I said, it was phenomenal. So definitely go watch it. It also handles a little bit about mental health problems, and I mean, like, orphan, you know. So definitely go check it out. It also handles a little bit about grieving and loss of, like, a child. So, you know, that's why they decided to adopt an orphan. So definitely go check it out if that interests you. It is a really creepy film, but I don't want to give away anything else. Definitely go watch it if you're interested. 10th on the list we have Don't Breathe. Now, there's 2 films of this. The second one was recently released. I actually have not watched the second one as of yet, but I'm definitely gonna. But the first film, it's rather creepy. It's about this couple of teenagers that breaks into a blind guy's house, and then things go horribly wrong. So I'm very curious to see what the second film's about, but I have to add it on this list because this film was just incredibly good. So if the first one was as great, the second one it's gotta be great or even better. So that's on my watch list as well for this Halloween. So definitely go check it out. It's really creepy. The thing that people don't realize is if you lose your sight, your other senses get heightened, and the people who broke into this house clearly did not realize that at the time, but they quickly found out what mistakes they made, and it was a very interesting film nonetheless. Definitely go watch it. I really recommend. 11th on the list we have Girl on the Third Floor. This film was creepy. It's basically just, I didn't really know what to make of this. I was very confused for a certain part of the film. It's basically just this old haunted house. Originally it was a very old brothel, and the whole film it's like gory and messy, and it's just like really creepy. And yeah, the ghosts that haunts that place are definitely out for vengeance. So if you're interested in this film, if it sounds interesting to you, go watch it. This film was really interesting, really interesting. I still don't really know what to make of the complete film. I actually went and read up a little bit about it afterwards because I didn't really fully understand every aspect of it, because they give little hints of certain things, but it's not really confirmed. I mean, I know they kind of leave certain situations open for interpretation, but I like movies that gives answers. I mean, I don't know if it's just because I'm a filmmaker, but definitely go check the film out if you're interested. 12th on the list we have Oculus. If creepy mirrors in general freak you out, go watch this horror movie. It just basically handles about this really creepy haunted mirror, and then just paranormal things surrounding this mirror, and things to do with the occult and mirror occultism, I guess. So if that fancies you, go check out this film. I can't really say more about this. It's just basically we're just gonna leave it at haunted mirror. I don't want to give away too much. 13th on the list we have The Grudge. There are 3 Grudge movies and they were creepy. Just go watch it. I don't even want to talk about The Grudge because I am gonna give spoilers if I just mention this last thing. But it's really creepy. It's really creepy, and you know, just that old-time classic horror films. It's just really creepy. If you're interested in like Japanese type urban legends and things, you'll really like this film. I mean, The Grudge, it's basically, I mean, some spirits can hold a grudge. So 14th on the list we have Silent Hill. Again, there's 2 films, and if you're not familiar with Silent Hill, it's based on a real town. It's actually based on a real town, and that makes it all the more creepy. It's basically plays around with different dimensions, going in and out different realms of reality. So basically it brings up the concept of time being irrelevant and an illusion, and it goes like in and out of these different realities, basically back in time, and there's just this weird timeline, and there's these creepy monster-like beings, and it's just really interesting and really creepy. I just really love the Silent Hill movies. I mean, if I ask most people about Silent Hill, they either talk about the executioner or the nurses, which is the two main highlight attractions of the creepy like monsters in the film, but there's a lot. It's just like a really mind-bending creepy film. So definitely go check it out if you haven't watched Silent Hill already. And like I said, even if you have watched it, go watch them again if you like them. 15th on the list we have Escape Room. Again, there was 2 films, and the title is basically self-explanatory. If you don't know what an escape room is, it's basically this, it's usually a house or a building that you go into. Sometimes I've seen people do it like on trains or just like any type of building. They basically put you in this building and you have to like solve puzzles and riddles and type things to try and get out of the room. You know, it's basically just like this, it's supposed to be a game. You know, you're trying to be like in this situation, you're just stuck in this room and you're supposed to get clues and, you know, you're supposed to get your way out of the room. You know, basically try to escape the room. So basically, escape room is just where they took the escape room idea and just made things really dark and showed like creepy things about escape room. So basically, if you're interested in going to an escape room and doing an escape room, this film is going to make you second guess it because you're just going to be so paranoid. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check out this film. It was really interesting, really cool. The first one's ending was a little open to me. You know, I don't really like it when they leave a film open. It just feels unfinished. But luckily, they made a second film, so that kind of makes up for the open ending a little bit. So for those of you stuck with me so far, I just wanted to put in like a little last bonus surprise thing at the end here. This isn't particularly a horror film, but I wanted to put this entire series on here because I loved it and I think it's cool and I think it fits the Halloween themed. So it's basically the Scary Movie. If you don't know what Scary Movie is, it's basically just this like comedy thing where they like poke fun at very famous horror films. You might get an inspiration from Scary Movie to go watch particular horror films, some of which I actually mentioned on the list. So there's actually 5 movies in the Scary Movie franchise. They really did so well and it's hilarious. It's just like hilariously fun because we can't just have all of the horror. Sometimes we just need a little bit of escape. I mean, it still revolves around horror type themes and I think it's fitting for the whole Halloween theme, but it's a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted and really funny. So definitely go check that out if you haven't watched Scary Movie yet. If you have, just go binge watch the entire Scary Movie series again. So that is all for this series, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.